Well, today we're in one of the areas where we conduct our Bushcraft Survival Australia courses, and we just finished our junior basic Bushcraft Survival course over the weekend. Behind me is our shelter, our parachute campfire classroom where we conduct most of the lessons, and all around the surrounding area we do everything from water procurement, fire lighting, shelter building, a whole host of bushcraft and survival subjects, utilising the whole area where we conduct our courses. Today I thought I'd answer a few questions. We've had a lot of questions about what's the difference between bushcraft and survival, and there seems to be a lot of confusion out there about the difference between the two terms. So I'm going to briefly explain what I think the difference between the two terms are. Well, firstly, if we look at survival, now survival is actually a small part of bushcraft. Survival is generally a survival situation, it's a 72-hour situation where something has gone wrong. It could be either through a vehicle breakdown, an aeroplane crash, someone getting lost, someone getting stranded, there could be a whole number of different things. And it's generally where someone's gone into a situation either ill-equipped or equipped, and something's gone wrong, something unexpected has gone wrong, and then they have to get out of that situation and effect either their own self-rescue or be rescued. Now, a 72-hour situation is the general scenario we look at. There are many survival situations that have gone much, much longer than 72 hours, many for weeks in fact. And generally speaking, survival is based around it's more equipment based. It's using anything that you've got to get out of that situation in any way you can. And the military, what we teach in the military is generally is survival skills, how to affect your own survivability, how to find, how to make fire, how to make shelters, how to make water safe to drink, how to make food safe to eat, and affect your own self-rescue. Or basically, we don't want to affect self-rescue until we would prefer someone to come and get us, and how to set up signalling so you can be found. And generally speaking, in a search and rescue situation, we're looking up to a 72-hour period where hopefully, if we've done everything and let someone know where we're going and when we'll be back, that someone's going to come looking for us. Now, most of the programs on television at the moment, all the survival reality TV shows, they're generally survival based, where people are thrust into a situation and they have to get out as quick as they can using whatever means they can. Now, some of those programs, some are better than others, some are quite good, some are complete rubbish, and you have to actually learn to discern between the difference, because there is a lot of myths perpetuated in some of those shows, because some of them are all geared for entertainment than actual education. So you have to, hopefully you need to be able to look at the two and work out what's what. Now, survival is a very, very important part. Now, a lot of people think that they don't need to learn those skills. They think, right, I only need to learn survival skills just in case something happens. But some of the skills you learn in survival are pretty cool, and they're quite fun in their own right. But generally speaking, it's using equipment, it's using what you have in any way you can to affect your own rescue or in survivability. Now, bushcraft, on the other hand, is long-term self-reliance in the bush. Now, survival is only a small part of bushcraft. Bushcraft is far more encompassing. Bushcraft is about going into nature with just very minimal equipment and with a great knowledge of what to look for. It's going in there with almost nothing and knowing what trees you can use to find water, to make tools with, for firecraft, of shelter building, which trees and plants are edible, which ones are medicinal. And that takes a whole different level of study to know that, as well as practicing good conservation with respect to the bush. Now, it's a thoroughly very broad subject in bushcraft. It's the study of botany, zoology, butchery, tracking, firecraft, sheltercraft, purifying water. There's a whole host of different subjects, cordage making, basket making. There's a whole host of different skills and skill sets, and you can't possibly learn it all. And it's, generally speaking, our indigenous cultures all over the world have used those type of skills. They're bushcraft skills, even though they wouldn't have called them bushcraft skills. That's a modern word. But they were, for thousands of years, they're the skills that Indigenous cultures around the world, particularly our own Australian Aborigine, has used. And they didn't have much equipment at all. They just had such an intricate knowledge of the bush and its resources, and that's what it's all about, going in there with minimal equipment. In bushcraft, it's about minimal equipment, and it's a very, very fascinating subject. In Australia, sadly, I think we're all caught up in the glamping, the four-wheel drive, going with your fridges, your stereos, your toilets, taking everything from home into the bush. Now, it never used to be like that, and I think a lot of that's missing the point. It's more glamping. It's even got a step down from camping. Now, camping is great stuff to get into the environment and learn about these things. But a lot of people take all their household wares with them, and I don't really understand the point. There's so much we can learn. There's so much about nature, and by learning bushcraft, you learn to respect the environment and ultimately look after it. And that's the real take home. It's a fascinating subject, particularly for children to get involved with and learn these skills, get them off computer games and things like that, and learning some valuable life skills that are fun in their own right, but they make you really look after the bush. In Australia, we have so many wild and wonderful places, but generally speaking, I think we take it for granted, and when people are blasé about it. Overseas, the study of bushcraft seems to be a lot stronger and a lot healthier than it is in Australia, probably because they don't have these wild areas and they respect them. And not in all cases, but they really cherish a lot of these skills. We're in Australia, not so much. So I think maybe that's because we have many wide open places. But it really is a fascinating subject, and it'd be great to see Australians sort of start rekindle some of these old bushman frontier skills that we used to have, but sadly tend to be dropping by the wayside in with technology. We tend to be over dependent upon technology, but they really are fascinating skills, and it's great stuff. So try to get, there's many bushcraft survival courses around the country. Try and get yourself, there's some great schools out there. Try and get yourself on some courses, read some books, but to be honest, you can't learn enough from just reading books and watching YouTube channels. You have to go out there and get your hands dirty, and there's some great knowledge to be learned. It really is fascinating stuff, and the more, once you start digging a little bit, it gets more and more, and you'll realize that it's a wonderfully fascinating subject. Well, I hope that's cleared up a few differences. That's just my opinion, and you're entitled to have as many different opinions as you can. Everyone has different experience levels, but that's my opinion and my experience. Well, once again, if you enjoy these videos, we've got some other videos coming up soon of making some interesting things, but please share them, like them, visit our website www.bushcraftsurvivalaustralia.com.au. Check out our courses. We've got some more basic. We just finished a course period. We've got some more courses coming up shortly. Another basic course, another intermediate course. We did our intermediate course last week, and it went very well, and that's about taking us away from the equipment more into more advanced techniques, and that was a great course. So hope to see you on some of these courses. Check out the website, and you should be able to find one that suits you, hopefully. But keep watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Bushcraft Survival.